There are destinies that attract battles, and there are destinies that attract ancient confrontations. Yours is the kind that triggered warfare long before you ever opened your eyes to this world. Before you learned your alphabet, before you understood your name, before you discovered your gifts, the spirit realm already recognized your assignment. Heaven had already stamped your identity. The throne connected to your destiny was already glowing with the oil of divine mandate. And because of that, the enemy launched battles not against your childhood, not against your emotions, not against your environment, but against your throne. Because the enemy fears your seat more than your existence. He fears your future more than your present. He fears your position more than your personality. Thrones are spiritual governments. Thrones define influence, authority, identity, legacy, and territorial dominion. Whenever heaven releases a throne, hell releases a war. And so, without your awareness, battles were scheduled against the parts of your destiny you had not yet grown into. The enemy did not wait for you to gain voice. He attacked the structure meant to amplify that voice. He did not wait for you to gain influence. He targeted the realm designed to host that influence. He did not wait for you to walk in your authority. He attacked the seat from which that authority was meant to flow. This is why certain battles in your life have felt unreasonably heavy, disproportionately intense, and strangely premature. It is because the enemy was not fighting the version of you that people see. He was fighting the version of you that heaven sees. And that version sits on a throne. That version governs territories. That version carries crowns. That version breaks cycles. That version enforces divine order. That version silences altars that have stood for generations. That version threatens the kingdom of darkness. This is why strange rejection followed you even in seasons where you carried nothing but innocence. It is why delay wrapped itself around your journey, even before you understood purpose. It is why patterns of near breakthroughs, sudden collapses, and unexplained hindrances appeared repeatedly. These were not random frustrations. They were strategic strikes against your seat. Something wanted to sit where you were meant to rule. Something wanted to intercept the crown that belonged to your head. Something wanted to tamper with the foundation of your destiny before you learned how to fight back. Thrones are rarely stolen in adulthood. They are stolen silently in childhood. Thrones are rarely hijacked during success. They are hijacked long before success arrives. But tonight, the God who exposes ancient battles is exposing every early transaction that attempted to replace you. And then comes the painful reality. The moment when life starts showing you signs that something belonging to you has been touched. Doors open, but not for you. Favor flows, but not in your direction. Blessings with your signature appear, but not in your life. People with half your ability rise into platforms you were destined to occupy. Opportunities that align with your purpose manifest in the hands of others. You begin to feel the quiet ache of misplacement, the silent discomfort of misalignment, the spiritual discomfort that whispers, "This was mine." Because crowns carry identity. And when a crown ordained for your head rests on the wrong vessel, heaven does not keep silent, your spirit reacts. Some crowns were illegally touched by hands filled with jealousy. Some were tampered with by family altars that saw your star and feared your rising. Some were interfered with through dreams where your spiritual garments were exchanged. Some were diverted through ancestral agreements made long before you were born. And so, as you grew, you began seeing the symptoms. You were gifted but unrecognized, capable but overlooked, prepared but bypassed, anointed but resisted, not because you lacked capacity, but because someone touched your crown in the spirit. When a foreign fingerprint stains your crown, your destiny feels like trying to stand on shifting sand. Your rising loses stability, your visibility loses permanence, your influence loses anchoring. Your progress becomes temporary. Favor becomes inconsistent. And every time you approach your season of establishment, something invisible interferes. But tonight, the fire of God is tracing every fingerprint that does not belong to you. Every hand that touched your crown illegally is being burned away. Every altar that interfered with your honor is collapsing. Every spiritual transaction that replaced you is being reversed. The crown that carries your heavenly identity is returning by fire. The glory that wandered is coming back to its rightful owner. The honor that drifted is reattaching to your name. Yet deeper still is the dimension of silent throne battles, the kind that leave no trace in the natural, yet cause catastrophic disruption in the spiritual. You walk into seasons where everything seems normal, yet internally you feel resistance that defies explanation. You enter opportunities that look open, yet feel spiritually blocked. You see progress forming, but it collapses before it matures. You start rising, but a sudden invisible hand pulls you back. You move forward, yet something drags you 2 steps behind. These are not emotional fluctuations. They are signs that the battle is no longer around your activity. It is around your throne. The enemy will allow you to move as long as he can keep you from sitting. He will allow you to grow as long as he can keep you from ruling. He will allow you to shine as long as he can keep you from being established. Because the moment you sit, the moment you are enthroned, the moment you take your place, the moment your throne connects with your identity, everything changes. Doors respond differently. Territories submit differently. Angels move differently. Demons tremble differently. Your words carry weight. Your presence carries fire. Your anointing carries governmental authority. And so the enemy fights your seat quietly. He weakens the atmosphere around it. He interferes with the spiritual structures that support it. He summons systems to suffocate your establishment. He sends distractions, delays, and diversions, not to stop your life, but to detour your enthronement. But tonight, heaven is breaking the silence. Every invisible battle around your authority is being exposed. Every quiet negotiation against your seat is collapsing. Every silent resistance against your elevation is burning away. And deeper still comes the most painful revelation. Sometimes the throne is already occupied. In the spirit realm, seats are not left open. If you do not fight for your seat, something else sits on it. If you do not rise into your realm, another spirit rises into it. If you do not guard your portion, another presence claims it. And so life becomes a painful dance of almost, nearly, close, but never established. You watch others enjoy what was meant for you. You see strangers shining where your name was written. You feel misaligned even in seasons of blessing. This is the agony of displaced destiny. This is the mystery of intruders sitting on your throne. But tonight, the eviction begins. Every unauthorized ruler sitting on your throne is losing their place. Every counterfeit carrier of your glory is being dethroned. Every foreign entity feeding on your influence is being uprooted. Heaven's decree is echoing, vacate the throne. What was stolen is returning. What was hijacked is being restored. And still deeper is the foundation. The throne itself was broken. Witchcraft does not always attack the person. Sometimes it attacks the seat. Manipulation does not always target the gift. It targets the foundation of the gift. Envy does not always strike the individual. It strikes the structure that holds their influence. And so your throne was cracked through spells, through evil words, through ancestral sacrifices, through jealousy disguised as friendship, through altars built to weaken your name. And you grew up, stepping into a destiny built on fractured foundations. But tonight, the God who rebuilds broken destinies is moving through every crack in your throne. The fire that purifies authority is descending. The foundation that could not hold your rising is being reforged. The seat that kept collapsing under your weight is being rebuilt. When you rise again, you will not fall again. When you ascend this time, you will not descend. When you sit this time, nothing will move you. The throne that was broken is becoming unbreakable. The throne that was weakened is becoming indestructible. The throne that was damaged is being restored by fire. There are hours in a destiny where heaven does not whisper, it roars. Where the Spirit of God does not touch, gently he pulls, summons, recalls, demands. You have entered such a moment where everything around your life begins to shift, as though an unseen hand is dragging your name back into the throne rooms of divine purpose. A moment where your spirit feels a pull you cannot explain, pressure you cannot escape, a calling you cannot silence. It is the call of your throne, a seat that has waited for you through storms, through delays, through betrayals, through witchcraft, through manipulated seasons and sabotaged moments. A seat carved by the will of God, marked with your essence, engraved with the architecture of your identity. And now heaven is saying, return. You do not return as one who is lost. You return as one whose time has come. Every moment you suffered in silence, every prayer you prayed with no answer, every tear you shed in hidden places, every night where you wrestled with the weight of invisible battles, none of it was wasted. These were not moments of abandonment. They were moments of divine shaping. Heaven was sculpting the version of you that could sit on a throne powerful enough to shift generations. The version of you that could carry weight without breaking. The version of you that could handle visibility without corruption. The version of you that could command territories without losing your soul. And when heaven calls a person back to their throne, the call does not come quietly. It comes with a disturbance in the spirit realm. Angels rearrange your history. Timelines fold. Delays collapse. Opportunities you thought were dead begin to breathe again. You feel something inside you rising and knowing. An awakening, a remembrance. Your spirit begins to stand taller, heavier, more ancient than your age, more seasoned than your experience. It is because you are not rising into something new, you're rising back into something that always belonged to you. But before a throne can be reclaimed, the fire must come. Not the fire of comfort, the fire of confrontation, the fire that examines every corner of your destiny. The fire that seeks out every corruption tied to your seat. The fire that hunts down the hands that touched what belonged to you. This fire is not the enemy of your soul. It is the enemy of what resisted your soul. And this fire carries intelligence. It does not burn blindly. It knows where your throne was attacked. It knows which altars tampered with your elevation. It knows which spirits manipulated your seasons. It knows which covenants intercepted your establishment. This fire travels through dimensions of your life you never had language for, burning what was hidden, uprooting what was camouflaged, cleansing what was poisoned. This fire does not negotiate, it judges. It does not request, it demands. It does not ask darkness to move, it forces darkness to flee. It does not politely remove intruders, it violently dethrones them. Because the throne connected to your destiny is not a piece of furniture, it is a spiritual government. And spiritual governments do not change by suggestion, they change by fire. But even after the intruders are burned out, there remains something even deeper that chains around your authority. These chains are ancient, subtle, invisible. They were tied to you through bloodlines, through curses, through agreements made before you breathed your first breath. These chains did not stop your movement. They stopped your establishment. They let you rise, but refused to let you sit. They let you taste, but refused to let you possess. They let you see your future, but refused to let you. And these chains hid in patterns that mocked you, patterns of almost success, almost breakthrough, almost recognition, almost elevation. These chains made your destiny feel like an endless cycle of climbing mountains that crumbled beneath your feet. But now the fire of God moves toward the chains like a hungry wind. Every spiritual rope that tied your authority to smallness begins to smoke. Every ancestral vow claiming ownership of your influence begins to shatter. Every curse that whispered limitations into your spirit begins to break. Every altar that demanded your stagnation begins to collapse under the weight of divine heat. You can almost hear the chains cracking, not in the natural, but in the realm where your throne exists. They break one by one, link by link, vow by vow, agreement by agreement, until nothing remains but the sound of your spirit standing up. And this is when reclamation begins, not outside you, but inside you. You begin to feel your stature rise, not physically, but spiritually. You feel taller than the battles that once intimidated you. You feel larger than the limitations that once embarrassed you. You feel heavier than the demons that once mocked your destiny. You feel more ancient than the altars that once resisted you, because your spirit is finally reclaiming its seat. You are not reaching for your throne is pulling you. You are not fighting for visibility is searching for you. You are not begging for recognition is bowing at your door, because the spirit realm knows that the rightful ruler is returning. And as soon as your spirit sits, heaven enforces what you have reclaimed. Angels begin to reorder your surroundings. People who once overlooked you now feel drawn to honor you. Doors that once rejected you now swing open at your approach. Territories that once resisted you now respond to your presence. You become the embodiment of divine government, a walking throne, a moving realm, a living decree. Then comes the final act, the restoration of your throne by fire. You do not receive back what you lost in the condition it was taken. You receive it back multiplied, magnified, purified, glorified. The throne you ascend now is not the throne the enemy stole. It is the throne you were remade for, the throne you were matured for, the throne you were processed for, the throne you were crushed for, the throne you were refined for. It is not the throne of your past. It is the throne of your becoming. When heaven restores a throne, it restores it with vengeance. It restores it with judgment. It restores it with fire that warns every dark presence. Touch this seat again, and you will burn. The throne restored to you can no longer be contested. The authority restored to you can no longer be challenged. The influence restored to you can no longer be stolen. This restoration marks the end of wandering, the end of displacement, the end of delay, the end of cycles, the end of suppression, the end of spiritual mockery. Your throne is restored by fire, and nothing in existence can ever unseat you again. Every throne connected to your name that was hidden, hijacked, chained, weakened, exchanged, or occupied illegally has now entered the judgment of God. The fire of heaven has gone into places you could never reach, into histories you never lived, into altars you never saw, into dimensions you never touched, and it has torn apart everything that touched your throne. You are rising not as an ordinary person, not as a wandering soul, not as someone trying to find their place. You are rising as someone heaven has enthroned by force. And this rising will not be quiet. The shift around you will not be subtle. Your steps will carry a weight they did not carry before. Your presence will trigger reactions you never saw before. Doors will respond as though they have been waiting for your knock for generations. Even the ground beneath your feet will feel different, because creation recognizes a person who has reclaimed their seat. Every voice that once mocked your delay will witness your coronation. Every altar that resisted your progress will bow under judgment. Every cycle that held you hostage will shatter without recovery. Every chain that suppressed your authority is now ash under your feet. You are not leaving this message the way you entered. Your throne is restored. Your crown is reclaimed. Your authority is awakened. Your season is activated. Your identity is established. And from this moment, walk with the certainty of someone who carries spiritual government. Walk with the confidence of someone who has returned to their rightful place. Walk with the fire of someone who has survived what should have silenced them. Walk with the authority of someone seated in heavenly places. And let every room you enter, every conversation you carry, every prayer you pray, every territory you step into, feel the truth. There are moments when heaven releases a word that does not just inform your spirit, it invades your atmosphere. What you have walked through in this message is not poetry, not emotion, not motivation. Sound of your destiny shifting in real time. For too long, your throne stood in silence while darkness negotiated for your delay. For too long, your name was whispered in realms where it should have been announced with authority. For too long, your destiny moved while your throne waited. But after tonight, that era ends. Every throne connected to your name that was hidden, hijacked, chained, weakened, exchanged, or occupied illegally has now entered the judgment of God. The fire of heaven has gone into places you could never reach, into histories you never lived, into altars you never saw, into dimensions you never touched, and it has torn apart everything that touched your throne. You are rising, not as an ordinary person, not as a wandering soul, not as someone trying to find their place. You are rising as someone heaven has enthroned by force, and this rising will not be quiet. The shift around you will not be subtle. Your steps will carry a weight they did not carry before. Your presence will trigger reactions you never saw before. Doors will respond as though they have been waiting for your knock for generations. Even the ground beneath your feet will feel different, because creation recognizes a person who has reclaimed their seat. Every voice that once mocked your delay will witness your coronation. Every altar that resisted your progress will bow under judgment. Every cycle that held you hostage will shatter without recovery. Every chain that suppressed your authority is now ash under your feet. You are not leaving this message the way you entered. Your throne is restored. Your crown is reclaimed. Your authority is awakened. Your season is activated. Your identity is established. And from this moment, walk with the certainty of someone who carries spiritual government. Walk with the confidence of someone who has returned to their rightful place. Walk with the fire of someone who has survived what should have silenced them. Walk with the authority of someone seated in heavenly places. And let every room you enter, every conversation you carry, every prayer you pray, every territory you step into feel the truth. Stay under the fire. Stay in alignment. Stay established. Your throne has been restored, and nothing shall ever unseat you again.